What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right. I'm going to talk about Eddie Hearn, man, and I'm not going to count the number of videos since I've talked about this dude. I've really tried to keep him out of my mind, man, because honestly, I think the guy's almost finished. But since Canelo Alvarez signed with DAZN has gotten a little, gotten a boost of life. They've gotten a good, the top pay-per-view fighter in America to sign with them. And so I've been having more messages sent back and forth to me. And then an article came. Well, actually, I got a message from a UK fan that really, a guy that I usually kind of go back and forth with it a little bit with about Eddie Hearn with. But he acknowledged something. And when he said it, I was like, wow, that went right along with what an article that came out where Eddie Hearn was talking about this deal. So I'm going to talk about that. But in doing so, to UK Eddie Hearn fans, right? Because he's got his own fans. You've got to help me understand, what do you see in this guy? It utterly perplexes me how anyone from the United Kingdom could support Eddie Hearn. I think it's easier for somebody from the United States to support Eddie Hearn because he's not gouging us, he's gouging you. And in this article in this quote, he's actually talking about continuing to gouge you. But I'm going to go through the numbers and let you know exactly what I mean. But then in the comment section, you've got to help me understand this. Because if somebody was doing this to me, if I swear to goodness, I know people think that I'm, a huge fan of Al Heyman, although I've never heard the guy speak, never met him, but people think I'm such a big fan of Al Heyman. I promise you, I would blister Al Heyman if I looked at my pocketbook and noticed what is obvious that Eddie Hearn is doing to his fans. Now, there's an article. Before I do that, though, thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we do more videos. And also, thank you for everybody that supports the channel by watching the videos and the commercials that are in the videos, the super chats and in the live streams, all that. Thank you very much. There's this article where Eddie Hearn says Canelo DAZN deal will end pay-per-view boxing in the United States. And this is by Boxing Scene. Keith Eidick wrote it. But I'm going to go down here to the quote from Eddie Hearn. I'm going to read this to you. Right? 2 paragraphs. The most important part is when he mentions the UK and pay-per-view. The plan for DAZN is to be a subscription service, Hearn said. Ultimately, the first one against Fielding, which we'll talk about in a minute, is free. There's no subscription. You can free subscribe to that fight. So again, that's an early Christmas present for fight fans that on HBO, you would have to had paid $84.99 for that Canelo pay-per-view fight. So their aim is to take boxing away from pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is a very important model in the UK where we're from, but it's $25 for a major fight. $85, $100 is so much money, and I think fight fans will embrace this move and embrace DAZN. Okay, first time I read through this, it's hard to argue it. You're right. Hey, free is a lot cheaper than $84.99 or $100 for a pay-per-view, right? Can't argue with that. If you want to watch Canelo Alvarez fight and you're watching and paying for every one of his pay-per-view fights, then free is a lot less than $84.99. I would not argue against that. They're talking about ending the pay-per-view model. They want to have a subscription model and not a pay-per-view model in the United States. Okay, I'm not in any rush to pay $100 for a fight. I'm going to support the Deontay Wilder pay-per-view event because I believe that man is trying to get the best fight possible, and people are using that against him to try to keep that fight from happening. And I really believe that dude really wants to fight the best. I want to support him. So I'm looking forward to writing that check, or paying that bill. Other than that, I'm not in a rush to pay for pay-per-view, right? But here's the thing. If free is better than $90, $100, guess what, folks? Free is better than $25 as well. So I'm thinking, well, why would you want to get rid of pay-per-view in the United States, but keep it in the UK? And then, so I was like, let me actually look, and shout out to McGregor Boxing, had talked about this before, but I'm looking at just what you pay for DAZN. And I'm like, if I was from the UK, I would be pissed because there is a fight coming up, for example, right? On, I think it's October 21st, and it's going to be Katie Taylor versus Cindy Serrano, Demetrius Andre versus Walter. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. Namibian heavyweight. You're right. You got Tevin Farmer on that card, Kid Galahad on the card, Scott Quigg on the card, Tommy Coyle on the card, right? But you have to have, if you're in the United States, it's free because you can get a free trial to DAZN. But really, just say you pay the $10, right? And you get it all year, right? $10 and you get it all year. It's $120 for the year. And for $120 for the year, you get everything that a UK person would get from Sky Sports and pay-per-view in the UK. So what's the dollar total? For the United States, we would have to pay $120 for all of that. But the UK, you guys have to pay $632, up to $632, the equivalent in US dollars to what it was in pounds, $632 American dollars. You pay $512 more to Eddie Hearn than I have to. $28, because this is just assuming that Katie Taylor and Demetrius Andre in these fights aren't going to be on pay-per-view, right? That it's going to be on Sky Sports. Sky Sports, you have to pay depending on how many channels you get, right? Whether it's 2, 4, 6, they got a ton of them. But if you get full access to Sky Sports, you're going to wind up paying the equivalent of $36 a month for Sky Sports. So you take $36 over 36 times 12, 36 times 12 is $432 for the year. Plus 8 pay-per-view shows. Because you get 6 pay-per-view shows that last year there were 6. Now you add 2 and say 2 more with Canelo Alvarez, assuming that Canelo Alvarez versus Rocky Fielding or whatever is going to be pay-per-view in the UK. The other ones for him so say 8 pay-per-view shows in the UK times 25, that's $200. $432 plus $200 is $632. Eddie Hearn, and this is why I'm saying I need the help. Why wouldn't Eddie Hearn be working to get UK fans the same deal that we get in the United States? We are not paying nearly as much money for boxing in the United States as we're getting as you guys are paying in the UK. The fights that we get, if we don't do pay-per-view, take Canelo Alvarez out of pay-per-view, basically you're saving us money. That's why I'm like, it's hard for me to criticize the deal with Canelo Alvarez. I don't even want to criticize the deal with Canelo Alvarez and DAZN. They are right. They just saved me if I actually wanted to pay for it. I don't pay for it. You just saved me money. Now I'm watching DAZN for free because I'm streaming it, right? And then I pay for HBO just for boxing, because I'm not even going to include HBO for boxing anymore because that's gone. I pay an extra $150 a month for all my boxing. I pay $150 above my regular cable bill. I pay $150 a year for boxing. But people in the UK, and that's not even talking about BT. If you want to watch the fights that are going on with Frank Warren, I don't understand it. If I found out that Al Heyman was charging me $500 and the PBC and Showtime were charging me $500, or excuse me, $632 a year, and charging somebody else $120 for the same thing, do you think I would be cheering and rah-rahing for a guy that is charging me $512 extra dollars? Are you kidding me? That is 5 times. That's slightly more than 5 times the price. Like, man, I'm telling you, somebody's got to explain this to me, man. You guys have to, in the UK with Eddie Hearn, literally is pushing the UK to a model of charging you much more money to watch the same thing. But at the same time, is coming to the United States, argue, at least pretending at this point in time. I really think they're doing it just to get a foothold and might up the price later. But just assume that they're take them at their word, right? Which I rarely do. But at this time, I'm going to take them at their word that that's their true intention. How could United States people? I'm telling you, man, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If you are a supporter of Eddie Hearn in the UK, you should be ticked off because he is charging you 5 times the price for the same thing. In any UK boxing channel or any UK, anybody out of the UK that tries to convince you otherwise is on that dude's payroll, point blank, period. Somebody's going to charge you 5 times more for the same product and you like them. Hey, man, if you can't figure that out, like they say, there's a sucker born every day, man. And if you're just okay with that and you don't say it and you like it, you know, you're that sucker. Or you just got an extra $500 and you just got an extra $500 to throw in a trash can. Anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.